How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get that creative spark all revved up. It's time to get that imagination running wild, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Jim Davis. If you're not familiar with his work, you probably are. He is the creative mind behind Garfield, one of the most widespread and syndicated comics of pretty much at least our time. I wouldn't say for all history, I don't know, but he's definitely in almost every country out there. There's some version of a Garfield comic for sure, and I really love his stuff. It's very iconic. It's got such great attitude, really great layout, and everything too. And so I'll just flip through a couple of these. This is just some of his sketches. I thought they're really loose, they're really fun, and they got a great sense of attitude and everything through there. And then definitely such a great sense of humor that he's got. But I wanted to share something that he was given as advice to people who are getting into the industry or creative people in general. And his advice was have something to say that's unique or different, something that's especially you. And that's something that we kind of hit on fairly often, or we'll see, as kind of a common thing that a lot of different creatives mention for their kind of advice or their inspiration for the day. And that's get to know those fundamentals, learn all the important things of whatever medium that you're working with, and then take all of that and absorb it all, and then add your own flavor to it that makes it especially you. And that's what's going to make it unique from everyone else's and really stand out the more of yourself that you can put in your work. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into some animation. This one is very similar to the bull rig that we did the other day, but this one is the Triceratops Creature. It's again a free rig you can grab over at Creative Crash. I've never used this rig before. If you're not familiar with the videos, what we do for the rest of the videos, we give ourselves 48 frames. It's 2 seconds of animation. I go off and I find a different rig that I've never used before. That's a free resource that you guys can try out and play around with, and we kind of see what we come up with. A little bit of just hang out with me while I animate, a little bit over the shoulder kind of animation, and maybe you learn something along the way. But bare minimum, what I really hope that you guys get out of these videos is that you get inspired to go off and create something that's especially yours and unique, and about that. So alright, so let's go ahead and get in here. First thing you want to do is save your file. Remember to save multiple versions and to save often. And also we are using Autodesk Maya 2014. And the first thing I want to do here is go ahead and create a polygon primitives cube, just so we have a base to work down with. And then, since this is very similar to the rig that we were kind of using the other day, how can we make it different? I think first off, I was thinking we could do some backward steps, and then also go ahead and we did the head kind of leaned up last time, so let's do one that's kind of crouched down a little bit more. And the other thing we could do, no, I think I'll go with that. The other, I was kind of going between two ideas, and so I'm not going to do this, and I'll just tell you guys kind of a little bit more of the creative process for going with the idea. I want it to be different than the other one, just because the rigs are similar. They're not exactly the same. Obviously, there's going to be some differences just because the bull rig, bull creature rig, and this Triceratops style rig are different overall, but there's a lot of similarities, and so we want to do exactly the same kind of a thing. So there was two ideas that I had to do something different. One was kind of like a backwards, almost scared or frightened, or kind of more cautious, kind of a backwards stepping, because that would be different idea than the other one. And the other idea that I had was to do it where it's kind of a seesaw kind of a walk, where the front paws would like lift up and plant down, and then the back paws would go, so you'd have kind of a little bit of I guess hoppiness to it, which would give a different style to it. But I think I want to do the backwards style walk that's a little more cautious. Just for some reason that idea is resonating with me a little bit more. But I do like to kind of one of the advantages of doing these kind of longer form videos where we just go from start to finish with something brand new that I've never used or anything is to talk about the creative process and when those ideas come or when they don't, because the thing that I think is sort of unique about these videos that we do together is that there's not a lot of time to really waver in your idea. You either kind of have to commit or we're never going to get the videos done. So that might mean there's sometimes where I'll look back on a video that I did and I'll be like, you know what, I have a better idea with it now. But that's because I've had time to think about it. I've had time to, kind of just go over in my head things that went well with it, the same things that went wrong. But in something where it's kind of a shorter form where we try to keep it within an hour, we just pretty much have to get in there and get going, which creates a sense of urgency and also makes us kind of commit to that almost first or second idea rather than reiterating to find what might be a stronger idea in the long run. But they're different styles, and definitely with something where it's more of something you're going to put on your reel, or something where you're working for a studio or something like that. You're probably going to definitely sketch out some ideas first, find which one is like the most interesting style to go with, and then go with that one, the one that tells the story in the best way. But just a little more kind of behind the scenes kind of a thing. So let's go ahead and take that out. This one here. There. So I'm going to bring that one back and that one back first. And this one actually does have a little more of a spine controller, which is nice. The other one didn't. So that means we can really get in here and get a little bit better posing than that other rig, which didn't really have that same setup there. And I still want to try and get a little bit better line throughout here if I can. So let's see if we can. I just mean there's that little bump there, but it looks like we'll just have to deal with that. And we're still going to want to pick it up a little bit more. And let's see. Let's go ahead and pull the head down a little bit more, make it a little more cautious. And let's pull that tail up. And I want to try and get a good feel throughout this tail if we can. So let's try doing it all at once, but I think we might have to separate it and do each cog individually here. That works pretty well. Maybe if we pulled that one back, so we can get that kind of, try and get a good arc throughout there. Get that nice line of action going throughout that pose there. And we can probably even tilt the head down a little bit here too. Let's actually do something a little more like this. I'd love to be able to get that out, but I feel like we'll have to, there's a couple little bumps we'll have to keep with. Okay, and let's go ahead and clench the jaw a little bit more. Nope, maybe it's not. Is there an extra jaw controller or anything here? Nope, okay. Is there let's go ahead and pull those ears out a little bit and back as well. Because usually when things are kind of on high alert, they're usually pulled back a little bit more. Let's see about that. Do something like that. There we go. That feels like a fairly good starting pose here. So again, let's go ahead and save our file here. And still recording. And I'll grab everything. Go ahead and set our frame range from 0 to 48 here. And let's go ahead and get started. So let's grab everything and go ahead and set our first key there at 0. And let's start building this walk, which is just going to be the feet and the hips, really. Hips back there. Okay. And I'll set those. Go to the next one. Back to there. Pull the hips back again. I'll grab the feet, set that there. And pull those back again. Try and find a decent amount of spacing between the two so it feels fairly even with the steps. And grab those. Be careful not to grab the whole main cog there. Back there. And scoot the hips back again. Set those there, and let's bring them back. And the hips. Otherwise, we were sliding a little bit there. I feel like that first move is a little bit bigger than the rest, so let's figure out why that is. Let's get into a graph editor, look at the Translate Z, and you can see this was that big first step, and then they kind of leveled off there. So we want to make that a little more consistent, so we're going to get rid of everything there. And right now, if we left it alone, we'd be easing out of that first pose and easing into the last, but we want it to be pretty consistent throughout, so we're going to make that pretty straightforward here. And it's okay to have it not be exactly, but good balance there. Again, I feel like this first step on the feet is probably a little bit bigger than the last, so let's see, let's see, that was about 27 there it goes on. Yeah, so it's going to be a little bit more, so let's go ahead and just find a good balance in the middle there. And plus we had that little bit of knee pop action there. So let's see. And let's look at the other side here, and let's kind of find a good balance with those steps. Make sure there's fairly evenness to those two steps here. Again, that first one feels a little bigger than the last, so let's go ahead and try and find a good balance there. Feels fairly good. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's lock in these flip positions one more time. So we're just going to go in and hit S on our keyboard just to make sure we have the feet keyed at the main points that we want to keep them out here. And we'll go into the other side, and again, shift select both of them, set our keys on all of the main keys that we already have, just make sure that we locked them in. Okay, and let's get the passing position started here. And we'll set that, and we got that one, and we'll raise it up. As you can tell in the background, the foster cat and the other little cats are getting a little snack. So they're definitely excited about that. So we built those ones out. They're cute little keys. I'm pretty sure at this point almost every one of them has been snuck into one of these videos by this time. Again, see, that's stuff that you can add that's uniquely you. It's part of that creative process, right? Okay, and I got those passing positions working, not the best right now, but we'll keep them. And let's do some work on the hips. So what we want to do here is, I think, lower them there, raise them back up, lower them there, raise them back up, lower it there, raise it back up, lower it there, and raise it back up. Let's look at those translate Y's here, and let's even them out a little bit more. And hitting F on the keyboard, just in case you didn't know, helps you to be able to kind of focus on reflecting frame range. Let's say I just want to look at those, hit F, and it kind of zooms in right down there. Just one of those. Should do a shortcuts video someday. Okay, and let's do a little bit of rotate X here, back, out, back, out, back, out, and back. And then we'll definitely scale that back, and then we'll use the chest and head controllers, and we'll offset that a little bit here too. And if we don't like it, we'll change it, but I think that would work. So go ahead, rotate down, back up, down, back up, down, back up. And if we do this right, it should accent the hips pretty well. Okay. Let's go ahead and tone the head down a lot. Or the upper chest controller, whichever, what do they call us? The neck controller. Okay. I'll probably do a little bit more on the spine here, though. And then we'll do some head rotation, see if we can't even out the head a little bit more. I don't like it to be so bouncy or so jerky on the head. So let's go ahead and just check that off. There, we'll do lift it up a little bit, break down, lift it up, break down, lift it up, just so there's like a little bit of overlap in the head here, doing it at a different timing. Let's see. Okay. I feel like we need to amp up this middle section a little bit more. It feels really stiff. And this is part of that, you know, a little bit of nudge here, a little bit of nudge there. Okay, too much overall, so let's tone down the head loosened up the back a bit. And now we gotta tone down the head since we opened up the back a little bit more. Obviously way too much on the head still, so let's go ahead and neuter that quite a bit. Even it out a little bit more. Let's go ahead and see that now. Let's take the neck, scale that back. Let's go ahead and see it now. Here. Now it feels too lifeless in there. Still a little too much in the head. Scale it back a little bit more. Little bit of looseness in there, but it's not too. Back is probably a little too over the top. But the nice thing is we have a different controller here, so I should be able to use that to offset what we already have in there. I think there's too much up in the head and not enough down. That's pretty good. And let's go ahead and get the hips working a little better here. And let's go push it over, planted foot. Maybe that planted foot. This one, that one, and back again. Let's go look at that. Maybe a little too much. Scale back a little bit and also even it out so we're not favoring the left side over the right side or vice versa. And let's go look at it now. Okay. And let's go ahead and kick in a little bit of rotate Z here. And a little bit of rotate Z there, just so it twists along with translating. And let's see what out. Pretty close to where I think that'll work. And let's do a little bit of rotate Y here as well so that it twists to favor the front planted foot. Make sure we do that on the right frame there. And hopefully that'll help with that a little bit of knee popping issues there as well. Okay. And let's go ahead and even that out a little bit more. Try and find a good balance. Okay, and let's see. Let's rotate Y a little bit too. No, it's just the neck. That's not going to do anything there. Okay. Actually, I think this one had... Oh, okay. Well, at least he gives us breath control. That's cool. We'll use that in a little bit. Rotate X is more like a rotate Y, actually, on here. Let's go this way. And then we're going to do a bunch of offsetting with the neck here. Keep it kind of focused forward. Let's see here. And let's do a little bit of a tip here to keep it level and balanced there. Yeah, that'll work pretty well. Let's see if we can pop these elbows out a little bit here. That's the knee. Where's the elbow? There it is. Okay. Just feel like they're a little too pressed into the chest, so let's go and look at them. Something like that. Okay, and let's take a look at this tail. Do the first two parts here. Keep them kind of the same timing as the hips are working. We'll break up the midsection and then put the tip back on the same timing. I think I'm going to go the other way though. Also minimize it. It seems like a little too much. So let's go ahead and see there. Okay, and I'll get into this section. Drag it here. Flick it out. Drag it there. Flick it out. Probably tone that down, but we'll leave it for now. And then, like I said, we'll go back to original timing that we had on this portion. Back here. And that just breaks up that movement a little bit more. So let's see here. Okay. We want to do a little bit more movement there on the base of the tail here and scale back the tip and intersection, middle section a little bit more. keep the same idea. We're just scaling back the amount of translation or rotation that it's doing here. So let's go ahead and see that. And now this one feels way over the top. The amount of movement there. Let's go. Look at that. It still feels like it's too much. So let's take both of them and we'll just scale it back a little bit more. Alright. That feels a little better. It feels stiffer, but at least it's not over the top. Let's maybe amp up the tip of that a little bit more. Maybe a little less here and a little more there. Let's try that. What if we did this on threes? That's a lot better. So there's kind of a little more ripple effect throughout the tail. Now it feels like this guy might be a little too over the top, so let's scale him back a little bit more. And let's amp this guy up a little bit more. Let's go look at that. A little more balance. Okay, and let's amp this guy up both sides here. Let's see. If we take that away. And a little bit more over here. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that here. Alright, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and I feel like that tail's getting a little bit looser now. Okay, let's get into these hands here. How are we going to approach these hands? I think I want them to really kind of drag off here, so let's rotate down, lift back, plant, rotate down, lift off, plant. It's alright. Needs a little bit of tweaking still. So let's go ahead and put the toe in here so it drags there. Lift it up a little bit. And zero it out. And drag that toe there. Lift it up. So let's see. feels like it raises a little bit too high though. So let's take and translate Y. Just because of how we did that elbow a little bit differently, intersects a lot. I think the rotate X towards the end is a little too much. So let's go ahead and toe wiggle might be a little too much towards the end as well. Do a little more drag on there. Let's see. I feel like we need to raise it up a little bit more here too. Zeroed out. Let's watch that. It's too much. We can still do a little bit of it. Just don't want it to get too deformed there. Okay, and I think we'll do kind of the same thing here on this one. Shoulder controllers, maybe we can. No, that other bull had shoulder controllers, because I figured we can maybe lift up the shoulders there a little bit, but it doesn't look like it. Okay, and then let's go ahead and drag that a little bit there, lift it up here, point it down, drag that there, lift it up here, point it down, and toe wiggle there, lift it up. 2 frames, we'll flatten that out, drag that down, we'll lift it up, and zero it out again, and let's go ahead and bring it down there. Okay, again, we're going to have to go into this elbow, and do a little bit of translate X here. Let's kind of compare the 2 steps. And let's kind of translate Y's here. And rotate X's. This elbow controller feels like it definitely goes in too much, so let's scale it back a little bit. Alright, that feels pretty good. Okay, and let's look at these back feet, and we'll just go ahead and here, lift it up, drag there, lift it up, and zero that out. Let's go and see it. focuses a little bit. Let's go ahead and look at the other foot here. Grab the foot controller. There we go. And drag there. And drag there. And do a little bit of toe wiggle there. Lift it up. Plant it down. A little bit of toe wiggle there. And lift it up. Let's do a little bit of break here. Just a little bit. We don't do a lot. Just so it's moving kind of more than one axis there. We've already got a lot of movement built in just from the hips already, so. Okay, that feels like it's too much. I don't know, maybe we'll cut it out. Maybe it should be 12 frames instead of 6 frames. Try that instead. Let's go look at that now. That feels better. Should exaggerate it a little bit more though, so we do get that kind of break in there. And let's do a little bit here as well. That way. That way. That way. And we'll go back to zero that out, so it's going to look at the it's probably too exaggerated. I actually feel like we could maybe delay that a couple of frames too. Let's see. That feels better. Yeah, let's maybe exaggerate this midsection a little bit more. Maybe pull it back a little bit. And perhaps we'll do a little bit back on here as well. Just to get a little more arc in that swing. So let's see. Maybe a little less here. I think that works. I like the way that tail's working so far. Let's do a little bit of drag on this jaw here as well. It's good to save our file though. We haven't done that for a little while. Go 12 frames from that. 20. 2. 4. Back again. Let's see. more. Let's see if we can get a good amount of like, kind of swing on the jaw too. Drag there. Less on the rotate X, and maybe we'll have to give it a little bit of a bounce here too. So it has a little bit of an arc in its movement. Let's see here. Let's go and see. Alright, it's starting to get where I want it to be. Scale it back a little bit more. Yeah, let's go and see that now. Yeah, still a little too much. Let's go ahead and scale it a little back. And let's push it forward about 2 frames. Yeah, it's starting to work already. Okay. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of bounce in these ears. And bring it back, forward, back, let's see. And let's take a look at that here. I feel like it's too much. I don't like the timing on it here. So let's see. Delay 2 frames. Still feels like it's too much. I just want this to be a little bit of looseness in there. Maybe we'll do a little bit of side to side here. I'm not going to tweak them too much. Like there's a little bit of variation. One feels maybe a little bit more than the other. Scale this guy a little bit longer. I feel like that works pretty well. Let's go ahead and turn our nerve curves off, and let's go ahead and look at that again. Alright, and let's go ahead and save our file again. We'll go ahead and create a new camera here. And look through that camera here. And we'll create a new polygon parameters cube here, just so we have different background color for our shot to look at. It's not all gray on gray on gray. And we'll scale it up a little bit more. And let's go ahead and scale that over. And let's bring this back a bit more. And we'll scale it a little bit more. And back. Okay. And let's go ahead and bring this forward a little bit more. Good horizon line. Let's have it a little bit higher there. I like to feel it kind of looking down on it a little bit though. And that's why it's good to do to work from a bunch of different cameras so that you can tweak things so you don't have to lock off on one camera. Again, once you really kind of found out exactly where you want to go with your shot, then definitely, you know, play up everything to that camera. If there's like some knee pops or something, you really want to fix them once you're in the camera that you know you want to keep. Let's go ahead and assign new material to backdrop here. And let's just give it kind of greenish color. And we'll assign new material to that one here, another Lambert. And let's make this one a little bit more kind of a brown, dark brown there. There we go. Help our character to stand out a little bit more. Yeah, I think that works alright. So let's take a look back at where we started. We were looking at Jim Davis, the phenomenal creative mind behind Garfield, and he said, have something to say that's unique or different, something that's especially you. And I think that's a great way to make yourself, you know, stand apart from a bunch of other work, is if you infuse those things that make you special into your work. And that being said, thanks again for watching, everyone. Thanks for being awesome. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and that you're continuing to work on your dreams and go towards that goal of whatever it is that you want to be. Again, if you do end up using this rig, definitely share back down below all the awesome stuff you came up with, and same goes for anything that you guys are working on creatively. You know, share it down below so I can see all the wonderful stuff that you guys are working on. And yeah, I think that'll do it for today. And that being said, you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you for some more animation tomorrow.